Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be unboxing and reviewing, well, I guess unbagging in this case, and reviewing a bootleg of what appears to be a protector-sized, 20 Toa gali from 2015. So yeah. A Bionicle bootleg. Haven't done a video on one of these in a hot minute. So, I say let's go ahead and get started. So, take a look at the packaging. Not really much. You can pretty much see the parts in there already. It's just one of those, package thingies from AliExpress. It's really not a whole lot to talk about here. So we can, of course, go ahead and get this open. So pouring out the parts, setting this AliExpress baggie aside. Here's the baggie of parts, and here are the instructions. Here are the instructions for the build. Not really a whole lot going on here. It does have the instructions on how to build it, and even like a portion of the instructions that on how to combine this with their protector-sized Kopaka, which is interesting. I do want to would be interesting to try out that combination. Very interesting. So It's been a little bit since I've done a Bionicle or CCBS bootleg set, but within that time, I've actually gotten used to bootleg brands and stuff. So I've actually looked up some of the bootlegs and actually identified some of the brands out of the stuff that I've gotten. And as far as who made this set in particular, I can't really know for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say that this is probably this set was probably done by a bootleg company known as KSZ, which I say that because I've actually gotten a couple sets that are similar to that, like the Anua, and I think these replica protectors. And I think that because the only thing that leads me to think that is what little packaging I've seen about these sets on these protector sized Toa sets online is actually KSZ packaging. So there's my reasoning for that. And the instructions do feel and look similar to the KSZ instructions. So there is that. But enough of that boring stuff. Let's now get into what we've been waiting for, the unbox. So we got this baggie, which we're gonna go ahead and open. Pour out the parts. Boom. Set that aside. And And now we can actually take a look at the parts. So, okay. So, yes, if for those who remember seeing my unboxing for this, for the KSZ like Onua set that I got, just like that one, this set also has its mask separately packaged in a separate packaging. So there is that. Another reason why I think that this is done by KSZ, which I'm gonna say right now sounds suspiciously similar to something that you might have heard of, KFC, but no, this is KSZ, totally different. And I feel like it's fitting to start with the mask. And the mask here actually looks pretty interesting. It has something else that's weird. It actually has an interesting feel to it. It feels like it's covering like a sort of gloss, like sort of slightly matted, slightly glossy, like paint. I would think, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this part's painted, which is interesting. But aside from that, it does look pretty accurate to the mask, from what I could tell, to the original mask. I don't have the original one to compare to, but I do have some parts in the same color, so I can at least, like, see how the color matching goes. And, okay, so on camera it doesn't look too bad, but the color matching is not as good in person. I will say that. But it does appear to be alright on camera. And same goes. So the three like size 5 armor CCPS armor shells do seem to be a slightly closer match to this color. So there is that. So we got 3 of these and the mask all done in this sort of dark azure color, so that's nice. Got a couple of these gunmetal boomerang pieces, which these parts are actually originally from the 2015 Pohatu sets. So there is that. Got 3 of these armor attachment pieces in silver. And I'm actually trying to compare this to the actual silver. Let's do some of the actual silver. We're just bringing this weapon here. It doesn't seem to be too far off. So there's that at least. That's cool. I can't say the same for the... Can't really say... Yeah, not really saying the same for the hands and feet. Because while they do look very similar, look like a very similar color to the armor piece, I can tell that the silver parts here like lack that like sort of metallicness that like makes them look more like an official Lego part. So there is that. But that's fine. Do have 4 of these short translucent bone pieces. Translucent blue bone pieces, 4 of those, the really short ones. 2 of these size 3 armor shells in the translucent blue. Cool. Very nice. Got one of the brainstock pieces. A small handful of Technic pieces. Got a couple of these upper limb bones in black, as well as 2 of them in this translucent blue color. This is really interesting to me, and a reason why I do like these more oddball kinds of bootleg sets. Because, as far as I could tell, I've been, looking these up for, a really long time now, and for a while, I don't think, I've been looking for these for a while now, and I haven't really, and as far as I could tell, these parts do not officially come in this color, so that is really cool. I have seen them come out in the translucent neon green and in the translucent purple, but never in this color. So that's really cool. And the rest is very simple stuff. We got the torso, we got 2 of these invasion from below smaller foot pieces in black. Not really much unique there. But overall very, very nice. A good selection of parts, and even a couple of pieces that don't officially come in these colors. And yeah, and yeah, I gotta say it again. It's the unofficial non-existent recolors this that really make these oddball bootleg sets very, very interesting. So I am gonna go ahead and set those off to the side so I can assemble this really quick, so I can, of course, review it. And with that, we now have our protector-sized gali all put together and ready to start the review portion of this. So starting off, there are a couple of spare pieces I noticed. A couple of these Technic pieces, which are different from their original counterparts, and I have made YouTube shorts on that. For the most part, these bootleg Technic pieces are pretty much the same throughout, for the most part. And yeah, let's get this started. So yeah, in terms of tolerances and assembly, it was mostly pretty smooth. It was most of the stuff snapped together with no effort. The bones were mostly fine, though one or two of them did feel slightly on the tighter side, specifically this one, which has already cracked upon me attaching it. So there is that. But aside from that, most of it fit together decently enough. And turning her around, here's how she looks from the back. It's an interesting build. It's a rather smaller, gali build than what most people would be used to. So, weird context for, these, protector-sized TOA builds. At least in Galley's case, because the other ones don't really have this in common with Galley in particular. But like, if you're familiar with the YouTuber like Jang Bricks, like Lego Jang, when he did his like G2 Bionicle reviews and stuff, he actually did make a video. Did actually make like a couple of videos making like some chibi-fied like Bionicle sets, including the 2015 TOA. And yeah, and I do honestly believe that that's where they got their inspiration to do these like protector-sized TOA sets. Like, and you can quite obviously see that with this Galley, because this Galley straight up just looks like the like Jang Bricks' like chibified like Galley, with the exception of the legs. I feel because his legs were only like this length, was only like that length, was because you only use like these lower leg parts as their legs for all of them, because they were like super small, like chibified like sets. But I believe like this bootleg company like added like upper limbs to this build to make it more protector sized, to make it more sizable to a protector set, to a Bionicle protector set, which I'm honestly okay with, considering that they gave us like these parts. Very neat. But yeah, I definitely do see like, why, like, where this like idea that they had came from when they were releasing these, when they released these things. And this is like very specific, and this is like specifically Galley, because the rest of them like aren't even that similar. Like, some of them do carry some similar like details and like design like ideas and stuff, but the Galley stands out because this one looks the most like one of Jang Bricks' builds. Even down to like the mini staff weapon, which he also used a pair of these boomerang weapons as her like mini staff. So there is that. And as far as articulation goes, most of it is what you would expect from a CCBS set of this size, but I will say, in terms of articulation, these shoulder pad armor pieces do get in the way of articulation, so there is that. Like, in order to move the arms out, you have to like rotate it this way and then do that. And personally, I'd just like to just flip these around, I guess. Accidentally knock that out of place. Reattaching that. And there you go. Yeah, this, but as far as, like, this little, like chibi, like, protector-sized Galley goes, it's fine. And to drive that, like, size, home a bit, let's actually, bring forth, some size comparisons. Of course, here she is next to the next to her protector of water. And here he is, well, at least a bootleg of it. Here she is next to a bootleg of Kivota, otherwise known as the Protector of Water. And, like, seeing these two together in this, you can definitely see that protector size to them. She is on the shorter end of the protector sizes because she is using the smaller limb pieces for her lower legs, whereas for Kivota, he uses the slightly longer ones. So there is that. But in terms of like sizing up to a protector sized to a Barnacle 2015 protector. Here she is next to the Protector of Ice, otherwise known as Isotor, which by the way, really cool name for, pretty cool name for this, like, 2015 Ice Matorn dude. Like the name Isotor. Like, pretty interesting. Really cool. So you can see that these two are pretty much, like, the same size, because they both use the lower legs, the thinner ones. Though he does use the open ball joint, like, limb pieces that does allow for more articulation for his knees. Like, but this one ain't too bad. It does its job okay. And does provide some interesting recolors. So there is that. Overall, pretty cool. Whoops. Sorry, I asked the tour. But of course, it is quite an interesting thing to see. And actually, from this angle, the silver on... from this angle, the silver on the hands don't actually look too bad. Though I'm still wanting to compare them to the official parts. Bringing back Isotor. Like, that's how the bootleg silver compares next to the official ones, because Isotor is using official parts, because I end up using a mix of bootleg and official pieces to recreate Isotor, because I didn't have like the stud shooter weapon, nor do I have the mask officially. So he is still using bootleg parts, but for the most part, that is an official Isotor. It's cool. So yeah, moving off of the protector-sized topic, and moving on, I actually do want to bring something else about these sets into attention, because of course in the instructions, and like I have seen in videos, that these protector size like Toa bootlegs do actually feature a combination model of some sort. and for our protector-sized gali here, she combines with their protector-sized kopaka to like form their combination model. It is just too bad that I did not actually get this like protector-sized kopaka so I could feature in the combination model. Oh wait, yes. Oh wait. Here he is. Our protector-sized kopaka. Now to be fair, I did not actually get this bootleg set. This is really just something that I threw together utilizing various parts in my collection, both bootleg and official. So it should be fine. Now, I will mention for this protector-sized kopaka, not all of the parts here are not all of the parts, not every, there are some changes I had to make either due to part limitations. But it's in terms of construction, he is pretty much the same as that bootleg set. So I guess we can also do like a little sort of mini review for kopaka as well. And for the most part, it looks okay, I guess. Not really, but I guess it looks fine as a completely separate ice Matorn, different from. I could definitely see this as a Matorn different from Isotor, just with the. I guess you swapping out the mask, you can see this as a difference, another ice Matorn, because unlike the gali, this one, the kopaka is actually pretty much completely different from Jane Brix's take on it, and it is pretty weird. Construction is not the same. His arms should be using 2 more of these gray pieces, but I don't have the parts available, so I can do that. The parts I do have are being used in other sets and builds, so I'm not going to do that. And instead of these open ball joint limb pieces, what he ended up having in the bootleg set instead was 4 more of these uniquely interesting recolor pieces, which I do honestly, which is good to know that there are ways to get more of those, that there is another bootleg set to get more of them, so that's cool. So in terms of the build itself, it's pretty simple. It has a simple ice shield. Pretty simple. It does have your simple articulation. The construction of the torso is an odd choice because of the way they constructed this. It makes him look like he has a pot belly, like a big belly, like an armored belly of some sort. So, but it does allow for extra head articulation, so there is that at least. And I guess also provides a unique silhouette. I will say this: the this like ice spear weapon honestly looks pretty good. This is honestly a pretty cool looking spear weapon. So I honestly do like this. Pretty cool like spear weapon. Do like the extra things they've added onto it to make it look interesting. Does look nice. But for the most part, very simple. I mainly just put this guy together so I can be able to utilize that combination model. So I can actually show you that. So with these two, I can now go ahead and and with that, I have now finished putting these two together to make like this extra tall gali. So now taking a closer look at this combination build, I do feel the white does add to the color scheme a little bit. Not sure how I feel about them, like using just white armor for the arms. But the armoring for the legs don't look too bad. I do think that looks pretty neat. I like how they arranged the armor for the legs. That looks pretty good. I think it. And the armor up here does not get in the way quite as much as it was on the shoulders. So there is that. It is technically like a triple joint design because they did add these onto the legs as well. Interesting choice on how they added length to the legs. Turning her around. And I actually do like how they covered up the back using the Pro Hatu boomerang weapon. It does add an extra bit of detail, of much needed detail to this combination model, as well as like using some technique pieces to fill things out in the back. That's nice. I do feel it kinda restricts a tiny bit of articulation due to how this is, plus the fact that it's not even connected down here. But I think you can like swap that like axle out with the shorter red one because this does include a spare. So that is an option you can do. And then the weapon. The weapon kind of looks neat. Like they basically just flipped the spear over and added the saw to it. But it still doesn't look too bad. Like, I think even like without it, like and then extending that, that still looks like that honestly does look pretty neat. It's another like ice themed weapon that could be used. I honestly think the weapon's kind of cool. The instructions have the 3-length pin technique piece here, where they also do include a second black one, a spare black one. So if you want, you can. So if desired, one can just swap this out with the Technic piece, with the black one, in case someone does get annoyed with this. Not something that they intentionally do, intended when bringing up some spare pieces, including spare pieces, but it's options that you can use for the combination build, which options are nice. And yeah, and yeah, it's still, and yeah, the weapon does honestly bring out a good bit of detail. As to the fins on the back. And speaking of details, I'm gonna have to talk about it, aren't I? Yeah, they legitimately just straight up added tits to their combination model. Yikes. And it is technically articulated. So yeah, so it does have the rotation here, as well as each rotation at each armor shell. Like, this is the type of thing I imagine, this is the type of thing I imagine, young, horny teenagers doing with their, Bionicle sets. This is this type of thing I expect them to do, not like an actual, combination model. Very odd, to say the least. But off of that, the arms do have an extra bit of articulation, but that is mostly due to the fact that I'm not using these parts, for the combination model like I'm supposed to, so there is that. And I feel like it does benefit from using these pieces. The head articulation is fine, and actually kind of better here, since the chest armor, it can move out of the way, so it does provide extra free movement. So there is that, at least. That's cool. The staff weapon does look pretty neat. Legs are also articulated. They can kick out pretty far, and due to the fact that, yeah, enough of that. Double joint at the knee, and that double joint is pretty good, I say. And you can definitely utilize that third joint. And heck, if you're not happy with the triple jointedness of it, you can just bend these feet back and have a more stunted, more stumpier look, but you also have a less awkward looking leg design, at least, which still provides good articulation, but with less of that awkward stumpiness. But I am gonna extend it because for size comparisons. So, bringing out size comparisons. Here she is next to Isotor. So you can tell that she's definitely gained some height. And because it's supposedly a taller form for this mini Toa, here she is next to a full-size 2015 Toa, that being the 2015 Kopaka. And that's how she sized next to him. Not quite as tall. Her head reaches up to his chest, so not really quite as full Toa. But to be fair, I believe Kopaka here is one of the taller ones out of the 2015 Toa, so there is that. But yeah, so wrapping up, actually one more thing before I wrap things up. I do want to bring forth the leftover parts used that were left out for this combination. So they do leave out quite a bit of different pieces. So if you want, you can go ahead and build yourself a smaller, sort of Matoran build with this stuff. Boom. There you go. You make him like a little grabby weapon. Neat. I guess. And so wrapping up, wrapping up oh my goodness. So wrapping up these two builds separately aren't too bad. They were they didn't look too bad. There were indeed some aspects of both of them that at least looked aesthetically okay. But in Gali's case, that's more so due to the fact that she's like a copy of one of Jangbrix's builds. But the Kopaka does have stuff that helps. But the tiny Kopaka does have stuff that helps him stand out more. Mostly just the spear weapon. And I guess the dad bod, and I guess the potbelly thing. I guess the big belly thing. So separately, these two builds were okay. Gali herself was fine. You can just remove the upper limbs for separate models to pretty much basically have that build that Jangbrix put together all that time ago. And as far as the combination model goes, it's odd. I do question some of the choices they've made in terms of design, but there were some aspects that looks a-okay. Notably, I do like what they did with the boomerang weapon, and I do appreciate, and I am kind of interested with how they with how they combined the two ice weapons to make this sort of spear saw thing. So overall, the combination model is odd. I will say it's odd. So next question, do I recommend these things? If you're, to be honest, unless you're looking for, unless you're getting these as a parts pack and don't mind the weirdness of how some of these are built. Unless those two factors are in play, then I'd say no. These things are more so parts packs if you don't mind getting bootleg parts, and I say that goes the same for all of these. But as far as this goes, yeah, you can pretty much put this together. You can pretty much just put this together using official pieces for the most part, and you wouldn't be missing out on anything. It is a very simple construction. So overall, not really a recommendation. Not really recommending this. Unless you're really into getting weird bootleg Bionicle things. And with that, I think that'll be it for this sort of unboxing and review. But sorry. Before I go, I do also want to ask myself, do I want to get more of these? Honestly, maybe. Maybe I might end up getting them for the future. I might end up getting the rest of them in the future, and see how the other how the combination models fare for the other mini Toa. But it's not something I'm gonna be super focused on, to be honest. I might do them I might get them in the future and do reviews on them, but it's no guarantee. And with that, I think that'll be it for this unboxing and review. If you enjoyed the video, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.